This video is for desiwii, who posted it on Reddit. Before we get started, I just want to put a small disclaimer out that all the stuff I'll be saying is just my opinion. It's largely based on kind of like what I do, how I visualize and model jiu-jitsu in my head. And for a lot of problems, there are obviously many different solutions, and this is just kind of my way of approaching it. So let's get started. Sorry, let's back up a little bit. Okay, this is how the match starts. And then Desi is the person right here, so the person that's going to be on top in a second. Right there. And then she gets the takedown, and she ends up in closed guard. So takedowns aren't exactly my specialty. So you're kind of like trying to trip her leg. I think your left arm is up, kind of like over her arm. She has a collar tie and she has her wrist under control. So at this point, she has better grips on you, Desi, than you do. But one thing I like with what you're doing is you're kind of pushing the pace and you're being aggressive. You try to trip her leg, and at this point, she pulls guard. Actually, looking at it again, I'm not sure if the ref gave you points or not for the takedown. When I first looked at this, I thought that you should get points. But I mean, she kind of got her leg down and then sat to guard. Regardless whether or not you got points for it, like, you're aggressive, which is good. But the issue that I want to address here is kind of how you land on top over here. So when you're looking to take someone down, or especially when you're looking to pass, you don't ever want to be in closed guard. Like, it's the last place you want to be when you're passing the guard. So one of the things that you could have done slightly differently is, whether she pulls guard, whether you do successfully get the takedown, like let's say at this moment right here, when you know that her butt is going to hit the mat, like boom, right there. What you do is you decide to go down to both your knees. Boom, you go down to both your knees so her legs can come around at your waist and lock you in the closed guard. What I suggest you do is, boom, like for example, when she goes down here, like if you could just stay up on both your feet, to me that would be a preference, because there's no way they can lock you in a closed guard. You're very mobile and you can start your passing from there. Alternatively, if you're comfortable with more sort of tight passes, or you just like to have your base down lower, which I know a lot of newer people are more comfortable with, what you can do instead is put just one of your knees down. So for example, in this case, maybe like your left knee would go down, or like whichever knee you want. You put one knee down and then you have the other foot still posted on the ground. So let's just visualize if you were to put your left knee down on the mat here and have your right foot still up, okay, with your knee in between her legs. In that kind of scenario, if this knee was up between her legs, she couldn't wrap around your hips and you wouldn't get stuck in closed guard. Because as you can see, all the rest of the issues start to happen because you're in closed guard and you can't really get out. Okay, so again, you want to try to avoid getting closed guard. From here, when she's in closed guard, you see the very first thing that your opponent does right there. She's looking to control your posture. Her arms are coming out. I think this left arm is the one that grabs your head. Okay. The instant, see how she grabs your head, your hand posts down to the mat. These are some of the things you want to try to avoid. Even if you do get pulled down, have your hands base somewhere on your partner's torso. The other thing, once she grabs your head, you need to immediately address the head grip. You can't be hanging out with someone in closed guard, or in probably most positions in jiu-jitsu, with someone controlling your head. You want to take the same side hand, so assuming it's her left arm that's controlling your head. Yeah, okay, well she kind of lets go, but okay, so she switches to her right arm this time. So you want to take the same side hand, you want to take your left arm, and you want to kind of tilt your head down and scrape her grip off. And then at that point, you want to lift up your posture. Okay, so we keep going. She keeps trying to pull you down. She's trying to kind of angle out a little bit. Yeah, trying to kind of hip bump. And you see throughout all of this time, you're still letting her control your head. Like, you're locking your hips down and stuff, but again, we want to clear this grip right away. The second thing, whenever the person on bottom is opening their legs, it's something that for more beginner people, it's hard to keep all this stuff like kind of in your head and you managing everything. But eventually you want to get to the point that when their guard opens like this, you just back away out of it. Again, it's harder with that head grip. But if you can even somehow sneak like posting a foot on the mat so that the knee is up, like I mentioned earlier in the video, at that point you'd be instantly out of closed guard. Okay, she's kind of trying to scoot away. What I like that you're doing is, as she tries to scoot away, you kind of flatten her. You scoot your knees back in, you flatten her back down. That's very good. Okay, at this point, I think she let your head go because she's trying to play with both your wrists. Again, it's kind of a hard angle to see all the details. From here, I'd want your hands to do something else. I can't tell exactly what they're doing, but what I suggest you do is have your hands on her biceps. So something to that extent. Because where your hands are in, it looks like they're very in tight, somewhere on her stomach area. They're not really being useful. You want to use your hands to help keep your opponent down and to like clear off any grip she has on them. I really like the control of the hands on the inside of the biceps. Yeah, because see right, okay, that's interesting. So you at this point you're trying to start to get out of the closed guard. Okay, let's see again. Okay, see how you're trying to like posture up, but both your hands are up and away from her? You don't want to do this. Instead, what you want is you always want a hand checking to keep her down. Somewhere around her like chest level, maybe around the neck, like not actually choking, but just keeping pressure so she can't sit up with you. And at the same time, when you come up here with both your hands out to your side, when she pulls you in with her legs, like boom, you just get clasped back down. She gets a grip on your head again, all these things. So if you posturing up is what you want to do, but you want to keep at least one hand on your opponent so they can't follow or pull you back down. Yeah, at this point again, she has head control. You need to address that immediately. You need to get in the habit that the second they grab your head, you clear that grip off right away. If you can do that, it'll be very frustrating for people to attack you when you're in their closed guard. Again, just trying to kind of grab her foot. I think soon is where the Kimura happens. Yeah, it's hard to tell, but yeah, your right hand moves kind of like off the plane of her body. It goes down towards her ribs. I'm not sure why you did that. Right around there. This motion is basically what cost you the match. You want to keep your hands always, if not directly like in contact with their torso, always over top of their torso. You don't want it off to the side. Because like she really takes advantage of this well. Because your hand is off to the side. Right there. Once she gets that grip and she has a straight arm, like you can't really get that arm back. Okay? And then she locks up the Kimura. One other thing you could have potentially done is, once you sense that like, oh, she has my wrist here, you should, or eventually you will recognize that them going for a Kimura is an option. So now it's a question of what do you do with your left arm? If you can get your left arm sort of in front of where their head is going to be, because she's going to try to sit up towards your arm like this. See how she's getting that angle? Imagine if like a second or two earlier, your left arm was kind of here in front of her neck, so she couldn't angle out. Something like that would have helped. And you do this while you're kind of like hiding your hand inside your thigh. But if you could stop her from like angling out like that, that would really, really help you. Yeah, well, once they have your wrist grab, you're in a bad spot. I don't know if you're necessarily Kimura yet. Is if you can get something in the way, like I said, the arm, sometimes you can kind of duck your head in because see here, she just has all this space to reach over with her second arm. She has a big angle. If you can deny that, you could probably survive. Yeah, this is the other thing. Let's assume now we're at the point where, boom, she grabs both her arms. You're doing good. It looks like you're trying to grab inside your own thigh. But once you have that, you need to like try to bring these 2 points really close. Like your arm, think of it almost as snaking around her leg very tightly and then going inside your knee. Or sorry, like inside your thigh. And then this knee should go down towards the ground. Okay, and you need to put all your weight over this arm. Because right now your weight is shifted off to your left side. And although your position is good, you don't have, like, I shouldn't say your position is good. Like, you have the right grip with your hand, but your weight is off to the side. You need to position it more here. You don't want this foot up. This foot should be in, knee down on the mat. At this point, while you're here, this is where I feel you really need to be careful. I'd probably like tap at this point. Like you roll out, which is fine. You're still fighting, but especially at this level, like both of you guys are pretty beginner. Like it's not worth the risk of injury. And yeah, like I would tap. Yeah, you go here. Like at this point, like you're very caught. Unless you're really comfortable in your flexibility and like this tournament really matters to you. But I mean, it's probably like some local tournament. I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't. Don't get like your shoulder strained. You want to take care of your body long term. If you want to get good at jiu-jitsu, you need to train it for a long time. You can't just be letting people reef on your shoulder. Yeah, like how you're locking your hands here together. Like that's. Again, I would suggest you just tap a bit earlier. Yeah, it's always painful. Okay, so quick key points. Biggest ones are when you get that takedown, don't go into the close guard, okay? Try to get at least one knee up or stay standing. If you're down on both knees, you can put into a close guard. The other thing, clear the head grips right away. And then just keep your hands hovering over the torso. The reason you got caught in the Kimura is because your hand kind of like went off to the side. Okay, I hope that helps.